Yellow everybody, Mr. 901 Tommy Jacks, an official maestro of content for Looney Tunes World of Mayhem. And today we're going to go over the latest blog post concerning some reworks that have hit the World of Mayhem. And I think all positive. Things going in the right direction. We're going to take a look at that. We've also been going through live today the city regional event. Been having a good time with that. We're going to talk more about that in today's later Market of Mayhem, so make sure that you sub to the channel so that you don't miss that. And remember, whenever new events drop in Looney Tunes World of Mayhem, heck, we're streaming 5 days a week right at server reset. You can join me at twitch.tv/Mr901 Tommy Jacks. So without further ado, guys, let's jump into this blog post and give it a good look over. All right, so here we are. You see Gridiron Gossamer right here, barreling down at you. All right, so new balance changes, wherein we level the playing field as tunes both old and new take center stage. These changes will be added to the game shortly. All right, so tune kits. The first one up is athletes. So we're going to look at it here. Gridiron Gossamer. Go Long now applies defense down on hit and does increased damage. Deal 80, scaled up to 100% based on tune-ups, of course. Damage to target enemy, applying defense down. Damage scaling used to be 70 up until 80. No longer removes turn meter from target. So got a damage buff there and applying defense down. Good stuff. All right, let's look at the next one. Monster Blitz cooldown reduced to 2. Whenever it, doesn't take as long to pop a move off, I'm all for that. Overall damage decreased, but attack has guaranteed crit damage, and that's going to be kind of a theme here with the athlete reworks that we see. That's really more so what they're about, working together as that athlete football team and doing crit damage. So it's reduced tool cooldowns, guaranteed crit chance, deal 85, tuned up to 110% damage. To target enemy, gaining taunt for 2 turns. This has 100% chance for the critical. So again, that's going to be kind of the overarching theme, I do believe. The damage scaling used to be 120, scaled up to 140. Despite the smaller numbers, should be dealing more overall damage and triggering more effects in battle because everything's kind of triggering off of that crit. All right, so the next one up is Touchdown Dance. Has been fully reworked to be triggered by teams' crits, granting defense up as well as enemy defeat, and scaling was modified. So this is the way that this one works. Whenever a team member lands a critical attack, gain defense up. If it defeats an enemy, gain 30% turn meter and speed up for 1, scaled up to 4 turns or the rest of the battle. Scaling used to be applied to speed up, but would only trigger up to 3 times. So you got a couple of different things working here. It's going to be triggered on the other team's crits. So you've got that going for you. You're gaining defense up. You are also gaining speed up. And we all know Hero Collector speed is king. So that's a good thing there. The next one up is Hold the Line's defense up is now permanent and reduced to a single stack. Skill now applies critical defense down to an enemy with the highest defense. Cooldown reduced to 1. Again, reduce cooldowns. I'm all for that. Grant your team defense up for the rest of the battle and apply 1 scaled up to 4 critical defense down to the enemy with the highest defense for 1 scaled up to 2 turns. Defense up used to scale and was applied only for 2 turns. So you've got a more turns for defense up applied here. Cooldowns reduced to 1. As you're seeing, the critical is a big deal, but they are not, Gridiron now works a lot more like a defender, I do think. So let's look at the next thing here. Unstoppable now applies attack up to Gridiron whenever it is triggered and has been changed to potentially flip all speed down. Whenever this tune is inflicted with speed down, it gains 1 scaled up all the way to 2 attack up for 1 scaled up to 2 turns and has 20% scaled up to 100% chance to flip all speed down on itself, otherwise cleanse it. So that's pretty strong right there. Since he is the tank of the team, that's something that you're going to want with all of his other skills there. the chance for him to just take the speed down away. The attack up doesn't hurt with his other stuff. So far, good stuff. Gridiron Gossamer finally has a friendship with Athlete Tunes. It substitutes his rivalry with Bugs Bunny. So that's cool. It now works like that should. The dev note on him, a solid push that was long overdue. I used push there. I like that. Should help increase his synergy with Henry Hike and QB Daffy while keeping the spirit of his kit, buffing up the football players while being a lot more defensive in general. So exactly what we were saying, a lot more of a defender now, and things are actually going to bounce and trigger with the rest of the team. The next one up is Cheerleader Wily. Big Cheer now cleanses more debuffs from your team after healing. Heal your team for 100, tuned all the way up to 120% heal power, granting them 3 attack up for 2 turns and cleansing 1, tuned up to 3 random debuffs for each. Cleanse scaling used to be 1 all the way up to 2. So now, and they didn't change the healing percentage, so that's good. But now more useful because you can get random debuffs off you and even more now. So that's good. Get back out there. Also now heals whenever applied to an athlete team member. Whenever an athlete loses taunt for the first time, grant taunt and 2 scaled all the way up to 4 defense up to the ally with the highest defense. If they are, and I think this is supposed to be athlete, heal them for 20% max health. So that's actually pretty cool because we just saw that your defender of this team is now more a defender than ever. And when they lose that taunt, she's putting it right back on them, defense up, and healing. So that's pretty strong. I like that a lot. This athletes team looks like they are really going to click together now. Demoralizing Dance now grants an extra 25% turn meter to Cheerleader Wily whenever used. Inflict all enemies with 2 scaled up to 4 defense down for 2 turns, granting all athlete allies 2 critical damage up for 2 turns and gaining 25% turn meter. So more turn meter, always a good thing. All right, Arch type passive has changed from emergency care to well-rounded. And as we were talking in the Jack's Army chat on Twitch, I think this is in an effort to make skills, like well-rounded, be more consistent across the board so that if you see well-rounded, you know what it is. This tune has plus 2 scaled up to 12% more attack, defense, and speed. It used to be as long as an ally has less than 35% chance or 35% health, this tune has plus 10% all the way up to 40% speed. Less situational speed for more consistent all-around buff. So the dev notes on Cheerleader is a few upgrades to bring Cheerleader in line with other supports and refine this tune's playstyle, allowing Wily to close the athletes team nicely. So you've got a smaller percentage here for the speed, but in theory you should, now you don't have to hope that it's going to hit. Right now, you've got it off the bat. All right, so now we move on to the villains. And I saw a lot of comments in a lot of different places, including sometimes the saltiest place on earth, the official Discord. And all I think people saw was the name Evil Granny and heads caught on fire. But I think it's okay. All right, so let's take a look at it. All the world's a cage scales slower now and is more effective the more space tunes you have on your team. While this tune is in battle, non-space enemies have -1 scaled to -5% attack for each space tune on this team. Stat scaling used to be 10 scaled, or -10 scaled to -20 and applied while Evil Granny was in battle. This will not affect her function within the villain's team. And you're going to see him say this a couple of different times, and I shall expound upon this here in a moment. All right, next skill. Tyranny, Endure now is triggered only on villain ally defeat. Whenever a villain ally is defeated, at the end of turn, this tune has a 50% chance to revive a random ally at 50% health. Whenever a villain is revived, remove 3 to 5 buffs from all enemies. as with the above skill, should not affect her function with the villain's team. All right, so we're going to read the dev notes here, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. Dev notes. Some tunes should be strong. In the case of legendary team leader Evil Granny, this is very much true. The balance lies within making sure these strong tunes don't cross the line into being purely brainless or unfun. With these changes, we intended to maintain her power untouched within her final team, while making her matchups a bit more favorable and keeping her skills from being used at full power in teams that would cause consistent passive triggering and other less than ideal interactions. So essentially, this is to more round out that villain's team and make her work with villains in space, because that's the region that she's there, as opposed to what's being done, like putting her with the Scoundrels team. And it may very well be why we have a Scoundrels team, you know, and a villains team. I think the days of just putting random tunes that kits work together is not over by any means. But I think you have to think about it a little bit more, because they are trying, from what I can look at from the outside in, looks like they are trying to align regions and teams so that skills work a little bit better within all of that. So it's very interesting going forward on that. So the next thing we're going to take a look at is Supersonic Hopper. Not much here, but we're going to take a look at this Archetype passive change from Strength to Prowler. While hidden, this tune has +5 scaled up to +20% attack and speed. It used to be that it was +8 scaled up to 30% attack. Now, again, in this game, and any hero collector turn-based type game, speed is king. So more speed for Supersonic. Great. And the dev note here, for a tune with a name like that, Hopper was surprisingly slow. This is a simple change that should give him a considerable speed boost without taking away too much from his hard-hitting attack. So I think overall, as far as the different reworks, I don't really see anything that is just head on fire worthy. I think for the most part, everything looks very positive, and they've drawn more in line with the synergies for the teams that those particular tunes are with. There are some bug fixes and other changes. Henry Horace fixed an issue where Heaven's Fire was able to crit. Fireman Bugs fixed an issue where Most Extinguished was attacking the wrong target. Changed Wild Hose's text to more accurately describe its intended effect. And changed Douse the Flames text to more accurately describe its intended effect. Showbiz Bugs fixed an issue where Spotlight had the wrong cooldown associated with it. Egghead the Knowing fixed an issue where Banish was being blocked by Sturdy, and thank goodness that was fixed, because that just, you know, would just keeps that move from being what it is otherwise. And then, as some of you guys have noticed, some of the synergy icons and things were not correct in the game. They kind of gotten jumbled up. Right here, changed around 50 or so skills that were claiming synergy counters with themselves. Note, this does not change said synergy, only the synergy tags appeared on the team selection screen. So there you have it, guys, the new blog post featuring the reworks that have hit the game. The athletes team look like they may be balling, but there are people balling over the Evil Granny rework. Let me know, guys, in the comments, as always, what you think about these reworks. And while you're here, do me a favor, do a run in on that sub button, bang that old bell, throw a like on this thing while you're at it. And until next time, guys, stay loony, and we'll catch you down the road.